Hi guys, welcome back to Game Week Talks, and in this week we'll be talking about the games that happened in the Premier League, and it's been a very exciting game week for most of the fans and for the Premier League at large. So we have Ishwar, the Liverpool supporter, and we have Sharada Prasad. He is a Man United supporter. So let's get into the discussion immediately, guys. So we'll start with Liverpool. So, guys, it's you guys lost 7-2, and we thought you are going to make a huge statement by beating your rivals, but then you guys couldn't go. So can you can you share your thoughts, how you feel after
I
the
think,
game?
yeah. So I think the way Klopp wanted to respond for the thrashing that we got last week was pretty evident in the first 5 minutes because Mane scored within the first 5 minutes. So
Yeah,
it all started well and was going well until the unfortunate injury of Virgil van Dijk, and that is, I mean, the effect of that injury. It was not just on the game. It's going to affect our entire season. It's going to affect our
yeah,
title defense. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get thrashed in Champions League also. I mean, getting thrashed at Aston Villa was different, but getting thrashed on a European stage, which is, Europe and Liverpool is what every Liverpool fan loves. So more than Premier League, it's Europe where it matters for us. And I hope, because the reason why I'm saying this is because Ajax and Atlanta, the teams that we are pitted against in the group, are two teams that play free football.
yeah,
So I mean, if Aston Villa could do that to us, I'm pretty scared what Matip and Gomez will be against when it comes to the Champions League. But again, this huge Virgil van Dijk injury apart, we had a pretty decent game. I think every Liverpool fan plus every Premier League fan would have seen what Thiago can do. I would probably give him an 8 or an 8.5 for his out of 10 for his game against Everton. He was actually uh, take nothing away from Everton, but he was actually controlling the midfield. So he was so dominant that the team looked completely different when Henderson and Thiago played together. I think that is one of the positives from the game for us. And of course, there's no use complaining about the VAR controversy because it's not just Liverpool. Every team in the Premier League have been affected by VAR at some point, and
yeah.
I don't think whether even I mean it doesn't matter whether Mane was offside or not. It's just that at the end of the day, it's 2-2, and it's just 1 point for us. So to put it in a nutshell, positives obviously the way Klopp has made Henderson and Thiago partner in the midfield, and negatives is like as plain vanilla as it gets. Van Dijk injury.
Yeah, like a lot of them were saying they didn't get the Pickford decision right, and he wasn't given a red card. So I just want to ask you: so would you have taken a 3 point, 3 points from that Everton game, or would you have taken a loss, but Van Dijk was not injured? So if those were the two scenarios that happened, what would you have taken? Like 3 points
I
or
think every
a
Liverpool,
loss?
yeah, I think every Liverpool fan would have wanted, Van Dijk to see off the 90 minutes. Obviously, that is more important than because a 2-2 draw against Everton at Everton is not bad. It's not at all bad, considering though we actually played well. I'll still take a draw over Van Dijk's injury any day. But then the whole Pickford incident is like, people just change it to their convenience, the whole incident. And it's not, I wouldn't say, because today there have been reports that the VAR official who was in charge of that game, he actually didn't know that you can award a red card when the game is paused because of an offside. So that
Yeah,
has again stirred a lot of controversy. But then again, you see these kind of tackles in Premier League every day. One tackle on a Crystal Palace player. I don't remember the player was something pretty close to it, though. I mean, thankfully it wasn't as severe as what Van Dijk faced. But yeah, that's what it's the way people see it from the outside that becomes a narrative. So
even
uh,
Richarlison's tackle
I
was kind of similar. Both of them hit the knee, and
yeah, yeah.
both
Yeah, that's
Thiago
what. It's
and
just
Van Dijk.
unfortunate that Van Dijk ended up in the hospital, and
People are blaming about VAR. They're blaming VAR, but I feel VAR is not the problem. It's the people who are using the technology are at fault.
exactly, exactly.
I
I
think the
mean,
ones using behind it
so
are at fault.
the same. I think the same team is going to officiate the Bayern Munich game in the Champions League, and there's been a lot of outcry towards that because they like we don't want such a we don't want such kind of bad decisions in a high-profile Champions League game. So there's one thing that the technologies have taken over football, and you can view all these tackles to the very minute details. But you should also understand that sometimes the judgment that the referees make at the time of the tackle or at the time of offside is sometimes much better than what people sitting in front of TVs can do all day.
Yeah,
I think,
that's
yeah, if you look
yeah.
into the Pickford incident, you have to consider what the referee was thinking, I guess. So, did the referee think if it's offside, the ball is dead, and then the tackle wasn't under the game when the game was played? If he probably thought in that way, I think he's wrong because the ball wasn't dead because offside wasn't declared again. It was only declared by
Exactly.
VAR after the thing. So
Yeah.
I think if it's not a dead ball situation, if the ball wasn't dead by then, I actually think Pickford did deserve a red card. I mean, there is obviously a lot of subjectiveness attached to it, but I think when a goalkeeper is coming and lunging out at a player like that, I think it probably deserves a red card 7 to 8 times out of 10. So I think it depends on how the referee saw it. If he probably thought that it was offside, the ball was dead, and after Pickford did it, I think it's actually a huge blunder because the ball wasn't dead when Pickford actually lunged because Pickford didn't know that.
Yeah, correct. But I feel the red card people are not uh, irritated, or the outcry for this situation is not because he was not given the red card. I feel it's more because Van Dijk was injured so bad. If Van Dijk
Yeah,
had not gotten that big of an injury, I don't think there would have been so much of outcry
Yeah.
from the
yeah.
Liverpool
There's a
fan
lot
base
of
or
emotion
from
attached
the.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
See
And
again.
he's one of the biggest, best defenders in the world at the moment. And when you take him out of the team, and he has never missed a Liverpool game, so we
Since
never
I
know
think he
exactly.
actually
We
hasn't missed
never
a
know
minute, I guess, since he joined.
exactly. We never know what impact a Van Dijk-less Liverpool team will have. I think we'll get to see that uh, from next week, or like from this week, like in the Europe, we'll be getting to see that. So
Tomorrow we are
what?
playing Ajax tomorrow.
Yeah, what would you do? Like, do you believe Matip and Gomez are capable of it, or would you go buy someone in January transfer window?
I think this was a situation that most of the pundits actually uh, they laid it out in the previous uh, before the season started itself that City made one mistake last year, and Liverpool are just doing the same mistake by not replacing Company last year. They suffered in their title defense, and I kind of have that feeling that Liverpool is in the same boat. Uh, uh, Liverpool should have replaced Lovren. Uh, we did go for the more important signings in Thiago and Jota, but then centre back is definitely needed. And to looking at Matip's uh, injury history, uh, I think he also went for a scan after the Everton game. So that guy is injury prone, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
Fabinho is a solution. We have a short term solution, but I'm just glad that the season started late and we just have 11 games to go for the winter transfer window, which is starting from January 1. So
Yeah.
a lot of top central defenders have already been linked to Liverpool, but let's just wait out and see what happens in Jan.
I mean, that
Yeah,
Manchester City point is so true because when Laporte got injured
exactly.
last season, City were in shambles last year.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I think the presence of Van Dijk has been very, very imperious after he joined Liverpool. I think a year before Van Dijk joined Liverpool, Liverpool were actually shipping 4 or 5 goals against Norwich
Yeah.
City at Anfield in the Premier League. So I think I remember that game. They won by a goal, I guess. So ever since Van Dijk joined, I think Liverpool have been more stable and more stout in their defense, more stoic. So I think Liverpool can consider themselves lucky
So
before because of
Van
the
Dijk,
late season start.
yeah, Van Dijk joined in Jan 2017, if I'm not wrong. So
2018, I guess. It was in
yeah,
2018, yeah.
2017 or 18, I don't remember the exact year. But then he was there for half a season because he came in January, and that half a season we improved a little bit. But then when we signed Allison also after our
Yeah, that effect
uh,
was compounded actually.
Champions League defeat to Real Madrid, that was when Klopp got all he wanted. So now we are in a
Yeah.
situation where we don't have both Allison and Van Dijk, so it's going to be really uh, crazy how
It's
we're
going to
going to
be
play.
it's going to be very difficult for you guys. And
Yeah,
also, let's talk about the teams that got a flyer, but then they did bottle it at the end. We have two teams in London who did that this week. And let's talk about the Chelsea game. And you speaking about teams that need to buy the proper defenders. And I feel Chelsea have bought everywhere else except for the defense. Like Werner has scored the
Exactly.
goals, and their midfield looks good, but their defense is they keep shipping goals left, right, and center. What do you think, Shara? Like, what do you think about it
I
from a
think
Man
even
U fan's
when
perspective?
Chelsea were leading 2-0, so when Southampton suddenly got a goal, that goal was so simple. I mean, one pass cut out 4 defenders out from the game, and the minute Danny Ings scored, Chelsea started panicking. I think you could always feel that. You can feel the commentators probably itching to see that Chelsea got really, really nervous. I think they will have a tough time defending their leads, but yeah, I think look, attacks can win you matches, but as always, defenses always win you titles, right? But I think that's the only reason. I still think Chelsea will not be competing for the title this season, and I'm telling this even after Van Dijk got injured because I don't think the defense has it in them to probably go and stop shipping these goals throughout the season because Chilwell's been decent. Chilwell's actually done a good job, but I
Yeah.
think the centre back formation, you can't expect Thiago to play on a Saturday and then play on the immediate weekday in the Champions League. So this time the Champions
So
League is more tight. You'll be having games every week. So I think Thiago might be, if he plays a match, you don't expect him to play him 3 or 4 days later. So I still think the Chelsea will be rotating the central defenders, which will cause actually more chaos and confusion. So Chelsea going front. I think Timo Werner
they're
finally
brilliant.
proved the Premier League that he's arriving. So he was really brilliant. The way he ran and the brilliant fake that he did at the defender. So going
Ex-
forward, I don't think Chelsea have any issues. They have plenty of options up front. They're spoiled for options. So which only
exactly.
makes me curious. So why didn't they go for a central defender?
That's the main issue that Lampard will have at the moment. Like he does not have a proper defense, but his attack is so good that they keep scoring a lot of goals. But then, you got to a lead and then you're not able to keep that lead intact. I think that's become a trend in the Premier League because everyone's so what to say. Everyone's excited and everyone's playing with their full intensity. Even the small clubs, even the not so big clubs, they are doing that. You can see in the Tottenham game, they they were off to a flyer. Like I thought they would win West Ham 6-0 the way Kane and Son were playing. Uh, to see them bottle a three goal lead, it was satisfying as a Arsenal fan. But what do you think, Ishwar? Do you think like Mourinho's team, the most pragmatic manager in the Premier League, he must be able to shut these games up, right? Where do you think they went wrong? Obviously, it's in the defense, but what do you think they can do right now? They have all the players.
yeah. I think I'm just assuming that most of the people who are watching this video would have watched the All or Nothing documentary. So it's pretty clear that Mourinho has been repeating the fact that these people are not mentally strong. So I'll tell you what happened last year and what has changed this year. So last year, without Kane and Son, they used to get one goal through someone. Okay, and then
Yeah, it's
they used to
Moura.
later concede that one goal in the 90th minute or any time after the 80th minute. So it happened like that last year. And this year, Son and Kane are probably at their prime, and they're able to score 3-4 goals for fun in the first half. But then the same
Exactly.
thing is happening in the second half. They are conceding goals. I don't know uh, what goes into their mind after they get the 2-0, 3-0 leads. Because if your manager signs 10 or 9 or 10 players in a window, you are a title contender. And with a manager like Mourinho and the kind of high-profile signings that he's made in the form of Bale and
Bale.
Reguilon, who was one of the sought-after left backs last year in Europe, uh, they're doing a very bad job defensively, and Mourinho has to fix it. I mean, he's much better at his defense than his attack. His counter attacking style of football is what has made him famous. But then the first thing that hits your mind when you talk about Mourinho is how doggy they can be when they're defending
Defending.
lead.
Yeah.
So that aspect of Mourinho's style is not gotten into this first team yet. And in fact, Højbjerg was one of the signings that was
Main signing. Yeah.
especially brought in because he is the cover in front of Alderweireld and Sanchez or Dyer and Sanchez or whatever centre back pairing that he's making. But right now, I don't think that team combination seems to be working for him. It's still early days, but then he has to fix this leaky defense if at all they have a chance at top four.
Yeah, I think they made the same mistake that Chelsea have done by buying players everywhere else in the field except for the defense. They don't have a proper defender. Alderweireld is Toby is old. Davidson Sanchez, I don't think he's up up the Premier League levels, but they don't have the right defense. They have a good left back in Reguilon, but then I don't think they have a good centre back. They have a world class goalkeeper, but they don't have the centre back to defend those leads. Just like Chelsea, they don't have the centre back to defend those leads. But then again, you can't take anything away from West Ham. What a goal, man! That Lanzini's goal. I think it's easily a goal of the season contender right
Yeah,
now.
contender for
It was
Contender, yeah.
it was so brilliant. That too at the last minute, it was so satisfying to see them bottle a 3-0 lead. And
I think Moyes
well,
and his supporting staff has turned around West Ham in a very good way because we
exactly.
remember how they were fighting for a Premier League place last year, somewhere in June and July, and looks like they've just picked up where they left off last season, and they've started the season quite strong. Like West Ham and Aston Villa, the two surprises for me this season, the way they've started, and Benrahma they've signed and he hasn't even played a single minute and they're already playing so well. I just can't wait to
Benrahma,
see
yeah, he's
yeah
going to be.
Benrahma on the
He,
wing with West Ham.
he's
I think
going to
it'll be
leave.
a
Yeah, I
yeah
think he came to West Ham just it's like an audition for him for the bigger clubs. So if he performs well in West Ham, he'll obviously move to a bigger
yeah
club because he's a massive player. He's a great. He has a tricky feet that we want in the winger. So on all that, and speaking of attacking players who are starting to score, Manchester United when 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 Shaw scored the own goal, what was going through your head? It was like, oh my God, not again.
It was not again, but now at least we have a better left back, I guess. So I think I didn't have a lot to fret because I know that Shaw wouldn't be the first choice left back anymore because I think Telles was under quarantine, I guess, because that's the reason why he didn't play. So before I go on to United, I think I didn't expect West Ham, to be honest, to be fighting so hard because they were fighting for relegation last season and to beat Wolves 4-0 and to beat Leicester away 3-0 and then do this against Tottenham. I think David Moyes must be getting something
Like
right.
even we struggled. We just won 2-1. We didn't
Yeah.
we trashed them. So they're playing really well. Antonio was playing great, but just move on to your result. So
Yeah.
you've
So
got a huge victory.
I mean, the score say it's 4-1, but to be honest, I wouldn't read too much into it because the last two goals were, I mean, all the last three goals were from counter attacks. I think Newcastle were also pushing people up forward.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good win. I would obviously, I obviously like the 3 points in the bag because United have been struggling. We need more away wins like this. And Newcastle has been a place where we've struggled in the last 5 years. I mean, I think it's been a
long
very,
stuff.
very
That
long
was
time since we've, yeah. Last time Matty Longstaff scored the winner, and even the season before, I think when we were contending for the title, also we lost at St James's Park. So it's a good result, but I still think we are a work in progress. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, stats can always lie. It's a good thing that we had some 25 to 27 shots on goal, not on goal shots. I mean, United are still attacking. I mean, that run by Bruno, the diagonal for the second goal, it was an exquisite finish.
it's a
So
brilliant
that
finish.
is obviously there. Yeah. But
I think that
obviously happy for Van Bissaka to score his first goal for United, but wouldn't read
I
too
think he
much.
scored off the pitch as well.
no, I think I feel United is slowly warming up. Ode should definitely try to get a place for Van de Beek in the side because they look like a completely different side whenever he stepped on the pitch.
Yeah,
So that will be there in Ode's mind as well because he would be dying to get the best out of Bruno and Van de Beek in the midfield. And to be honest, it's actually a good result in the weekend, irrespective of the scoreline, because you guys also didn't have Greenwood, who's been like a really Greenwood and Marshall, if I'm not
yeah.
wrong. So
It's a good
like
result,
when
but
when you're not going for an away game with your strongest 11, 4-1 is like a really good result.
yeah,
But
it is a very good
yeah,
result. But yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it. Also, I
yeah,
mean, one of the most underrated players in the game was Juan Mata. I mean, that pass to Rashford,
exactly.
Mata, yeah,
yeah,
he's back.
The way United fans have always said that we need a proper right winger, and how they melted when United failed to sign
Sancho.
Sancho.
Sancho was
Yeah,
actually all those incidents actually made me feel that you guys have Mata in the club who's like he's been he's been playing all around Europe and he's a very experienced player. You guys can't maybe get the best out of him in a very physical game against Burnley or teams like that. But
yeah.
in a game against Newcastle, when you're just struggling for that one pass that can break the defense, I think Mata played a brilliant game, and he was the one who was doing that. He was actually uh, marshalling the wing side of Manchester's play.
Yeah, I think that's the problem over here. I mean, even with the case of Van de Beek, I still don't know why he's not starting ahead of McTominay or Fred itself. I guess I don't I hope it's not a case of trust issue with Ole not trusting Donny, but I, I still don't know what's going on. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, obviously we would have liked a pacey right winger, but yeah, I think Mata offers a lot to the table than what people perceive, than what the fans itself perceive. Because I think he can create a lot of goals. He can break open defenses. Obviously, in physical games, we might we can't get the best out of him, but yeah, I think he does his job.
Mata and
Yeah,
Igalo also. Like Igalo also, whenever he's played in Europa League games, I mean, Igalo is not a point of discussion right now. But I'm just saying that Mata and Igalo are two people who have stepped up for United whenever they've been called upon. So I think he still has a lot in his tank, and Ode should trust him more often whenever he's out of attacking options.
Yeah, hope so.
result. But then for Arsenal, I don't think it's much of a bad result. We lost the game, but then it's like last week, like we played against Liverpool, but I don't feel bad about losing to Liverpool or Man City because we were competent and we were competing with Man City till the end, and we obviously could have snatched a point from them if not for Ederson. Like I think he was brilliant. Manchester City, obviously, they were really good. Ruben Diaz played really well, and Arteta. We have to criticize Arteta when it doesn't work out. Playing Willian in a false nine was such a stupid experiment, which backfired. I don't think he'll ever try it again. But I think once Thomas Partey gets into the team properly and he knows the entire system, I feel we'll be more attacking and we'll start scoring goals. And I think Aubameyang will start playing up front, hopefully, and we'll see him scoring a lot of goals. But for you as a Manchester United fan, how did you see like the Man City game against Arsenal? So, what were you hoping for the result would be? Did you want a draw or you wanted your Man City to lose?
I think on the secret side, if a draw happened, United would have been the only side out of the top six who came out with 3 points in the weekend. So probably, yeah, secretly wished that way. But I think Arsenal have done a great job this weekend because whenever they've gone to the Etihad, they've most of the times they've been thrashed. I think by 3 or more goals. I guess the last 3 4 years. So I think a phenomenal job. I think they probably deserved a point. Edison denied them. So City did play well. I think Ruben Diaz is coming on his own. So you actually also need a good goalkeeper. So I mean, Edison is in form. Sorry, a goalkeeper in form. But I think yeah, the experiment with Willian was probably stupid. I think even I was baffled when I went and saw that saw in the formation box that Willian was playing through the center. So I didn't
Exactly.
understand why Arteta did that. Uh, I don't know the logic behind it. Probably he would have thought something else. But only thing we know for sure is that it backfired. So City did
Yeah,
a good job
I think
thwarting Arsenal, but uh, yeah,
he
you had
overthought.
something to say. Yeah,
He
he
had
probably
he
overthought.
overthought the entire tactics, and
No,
he thought,
actually,
He
when I
probably
saw the
overthought.
lineup, I was actually under the impression that Arteta was gonna make Willian play like how a
play well.
Firmino plays in Liverpool, like draw
The false
back,
nine.
yeah, draw back a little bit when you're attacking, and you let Auba and Pepe take the center stage. But I don't know why it didn't work out for Willian. Of course, it didn't work out because
Yeah,
probably the way how Klopp uses Firmino and Arteta wanted to use Willian was like uh, very different. But then when we all saw Willian at a false nine position, at least for me, I thought that he's gonna take up the role of what Firmino does in Liverpool. But
I
yeah, it
mean,
backfired.
there is
Firmino is a striker, right? He knows
Yeah, yeah. No,
he knows
he knows how to do.
he's played everywhere in the front three. So he even played as a
So
CA.
it's not
Willian cannot do that.
surprising that yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
in terms of
surprising that Arsenal
in terms of
lost.
versatility, I think Willian is as versatile as Firmino. I think even Arteta mentioned that when Willian came into the
Yeah,
setup that
I thought he'll be playing somewhere in the middle. I don't think he'll be played. I didn't think he'll be played as a false nine. I thought he'll be played as a center attacking mid or a center mid because he can do that as well. But I thought when you have Lacazette on the pitch, why do you use Willian to be a false nine? That because
probably
Lacazette has been played there.
it's a thing with Guardiola also. Like you go out with something which the opponent doesn't expect from you, and
Yeah,
Arteta might have
sometimes it
picked it up
backfires.
from Arteta might have picked it up because when we
For
saw
sure.
Yeah.
City's formation against Leon, it was so stupid. Like the previous game which they won against Madrid, they were so comfortable in that win. So why would you change something that's not broken? Why would you want to fix something that's not broken? So I think Arteta made the same mistake of dropping Lacazette and going with Willian in that position. Probably if
Very
Willian
true.
had been there, the game might have gone differently as he's a
Because
more yeah sorry.
yeah, that's true because Guardiola actually overthinks a lot in big games. So I think Arteta has learned his fair share of it, I guess. But we
Yeah,
obviously think that Willian has disappointed. But I think we have to spare a minute for Bukayo Saka. I mean, man, what a game when
yeah,
he's
he
18, when he's still in
The
his
so
teenage,
kid
like he
was The kid was out of the world. He did miss. I
I mean,
wouldn't say he missed the. He missed it.
whenever you mentioned that Ederson had a brilliant game, I think you should also put Saka in the same bracket because most of the shots which Ederson had saved were from Saka, and he
Yeah,
was
like
live
I
there
wouldn't.
on that
He
wing.
was
Yeah,
brilliant. Saka was. That's like the positive that we take from the game is like Saka was out of the world, and he was playing. He was really. He was so comfortable with the ball that he was just running past like 4 or 5 defenders, and he also had the end product. But Ederson was there at the end of the day. We can. He
I
was
just
in his.
I just have a question to ask Srini. Do you think Saka is playing in his correct position? Do you think Arteta is playing him
Uh,
properly?
he can play in multiple roles. Saka, he can play in the center, he can play as a left winger, he has played as a left wing back. So he's still young, and we are trying, and he is open to learning the game, and he's open to play the way the team wants him to play, instead of demanding that I want to play in this position, because he's, and we know what Arteta can do with youngsters. Like even Sterling has come out and said Arteta had a great impact on my game as a winger. So I think we'll see Saka either played as a left winger or he'll be moved into the middle, because I feel he has the ability to carry the ball, and he can run with the ball, and he can beat players. So it can be either left wing or in the middle. So we played him there only. Like he sometimes has come into the middle, and he's been really good in games as well. So for Saka, it's a really great, bright future ahead for him, and those are the positives that we take from the game. And let's we have to like talk about Aston Villa, guys. They are just
I
unbelievable.
mean,
4 games, 4 wins,
so this
like
nobody expected
three
that,
clean
and even
sheets.
yeah, no,
one
this
of
is
your
the Aston
strategies is
Villa
also
that
going good.
this is the Aston Villa that we
Maybe
all saw in the championship. Again, I'm not going to lie that I saw all the games that Aston Villa played in the championship 2 years back. But I did follow the ending part of the championship
yeah,
because it was very interesting
towards the
that year.
playoffs.
And of course, the playoff battle was also like really good. They missed out one year, and then the next year they made it to the Premier League, and then they came in last year. But they made one very silly mistake that every newly promoted club makes, which is like sign players with the money you have, like whatever money you have, just splash it on the players, irrespective of understanding whether they would actually improve your team. But Dean Smith realized what he did last year and he fixed it this year. And look at his signings. Emilio Martinez coming off an FA Cup win, he signed defender Matty Cash, who had a terrific season last year in the championship.
Cash,
He signed Barkley, and I read one of Barkley's interviews where Dean Smith had convinced Barkley, saying that I'll put you on the plane to Euros with the England squad. So that is things like this when a
Supposed to be.
manager says to a player uh, who's been performing really uh, below par. We know what Barkley can do. I mean, we've seen like 5 6 years back in Everton, he was a very exceptional player when he broke onto the stage. But after that, a lot of wrong transfers and managers not using him the way he wanted to play. Uh, but now at Aston Villa, I think he's really at home at Aston Villa, and I expect him to have a really good season. And the way Gareth Southgate plays with the England squad, if you have seen, he plays two center defensive midfield and three strikers. I don't know how that works because there is no creativity in the midfield. Both Grealish and Barkley have a good chance to break
great
into the
chance
starting
of
11
getting into
if they
the.
keep up. If they keep up the good form that they've been having so far.
We, like you said, you're
I
finally
think
seeing
when
the Barkley from Everton,
Yeah,
who can run with the ball, beat players, and who can also he has a brilliant strike to him that we haven't seen that for the past few years. We thought
yeah.
he's like one
In
lost
fact,
talent.
Aston Villa's midfield was so blunt last year. You'll have a Douglas Lewis who is just doing all the dirty work, but you won't have someone with an attacking mindset. Of course, you have McGinn, but who's he going to give the passes to? They signed a 30 million striker, but it didn't work out for them.
Didn't work out.
And one more thing, when I'm talking about strikers, they signed Ollie Watkins,
Watkins,
and
yeah.
that guy was too good against Liverpool. And I think the way he plays, it fits their team. It fits how, or maybe we can also say that Dean Smith has tried to build a team around Grealish in such a way that he's brought in uh, Barkley and Watkins to be the support cast for Grealish. And it has taken a lot of pressure out of McGinn, who is now having a brilliant season himself, because he's also spraying a lot of passes through the uh, opponent's third.
McGinn has been brilliant.
Yeah, and he's behind all this attacking form that Aston Villa right now is going.
And their centre back pairings of Mings and Konsa, they were just they are at the moment they are people can't go past them. They just keep shutting out the gates, and we didn't see this coming.
They've been pretty airtight in the back. And of course, when you talk about centre backs, I would still say that don't take Emiliano Martinez out of this. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you would know better of him. But he's also had a crazy impact. He is making like 6-7 saves every game, which is keeping them in the game, which is giving them that push to go forward and get the 3 points if they are able to hold on to a clean sheet. So overall, like, they've had a good transfer window, and it's so far it's working out for them. But it's the Premier League, and it's still early stages. We know what can happen as the fixtures pile up. So as long as they can deal with injuries, and they have good squad players also. So as long as they can deal with injuries and different forms, I think they're in for a top 10 finish.
Yeah, I know it's early, but for a team like Aston Villa, who was struggling to stay in the Premier League last year, for them to be so high up the table right now, it should be giving Aston Villa so much boost to play well. Like teams like Sheffield last year, you can see what a great start to the season can do to you. You can be safe towards the end of the season. You need not be scared of losing or being relegated again. So it's going to be really a great season, and it has been a great season. Just like 4 game weeks, right? 4 or 5 game weeks. And yeah, guys, I think we are going to see a lot more of these upsets and a lot more of these big games losing and these crazy comebacks, because it's going to be that kind of a season. Everyone's up for it, and everyone's
the first 0-0 draw came after 46 games, which was Burnley was
exactly.
Yeah.
So
guys, a lot of goals this season.
Exactly, we have a lot of goals, and we have a lot of bad defending, a lot of talking points in this season. I think it's going to continue towards the end of the season.
It's going to continue, but
if
you remember, in the last game week talks, I told that the team that is going to win the Premier League will probably end with 85 points. This week has actually added the conviction to that belief. I think we are going to see a lot more of upsets in the coming season.
Exactly. Like, I'm really sure that's going to happen, because that's the trend, guys. That's the trend that's been happening for the past few games, and this is why we say Premier League is the best league in the world, because it's so competitive, and everyone has a chance of beating everyone. At least this season. Last season was completely Liverpool, but this season the entire top 6 is opened up. I don't think we don't know who's going to finish where at the moment. It's that kind of a season. And thanks a lot, Ishwar and Sharda Prasad, for joining for this session of Game Week Talks. And guys, everyone, please like, share, subscribe, and do your thing on the comments. Share your thoughts as well. And yeah, guys, see you guys in the next video. And yeah, bye.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.